Welcome, guys, and welcome back to the Health Bar. This is, I don't even know what episode it is now, 12, 13? This is crazy. But again, welcome back. I appreciate everyone that's been here. I appreciate everyone that's been watching the YouTube and also listening to on Spotify as well, which is so cool. We've actually started getting that onto Spotify. So again, if anyone is watching this, again, subs, likes, comments, the whole thing on Spotify and YouTube would just be massively appreciated, so we can kind of just keep the podcast going and yeah, try and get it out to as many people as possible. So if you are new here, this is the Health Bar. It is mental health within gaming. We talk about all different things with guests, and today's guest is kind of really exciting. But we'll get to that in a minute. So let's, as always, start the podcast off with myself and my mental health for the week. Again, a positive week, which is really nice to have a couple of weeks in a row of quite positive. We have really kind of got the little and sleep under control. Touch wood again. I did this last week, so we keep doing it. Just touch wood and make sure. But he's sleeping a lot better, which again makes our nights better. We sleep better, get up in the morning a lot more positive and things like that, which is great. Also, as well, it's a big positive for me because next week my parents are coming up to Scotland, which is brilliant. So I get to see them, and the little one gets to see obviously his grandparents. So it's going to be really nice. So again, that's always putting me into a nice positive mood. So next we are going to talk about some gaming news. Again, not really kind of the biggest news. Again, as I said last week, it is quite hard to keep finding news, but we will keep doing it because I do like to search myself and find lots of different things on the internet about mental health and gaming and things like that. Most of the stuff at the moment I am finding is positive, which is lovely. So this is another positive story. This is actually on Microsoft as well. So Microsoft, they did this article in 2021, and it says how gaming can play a positive role in mental health. So it's a really nice article. It's learning from video games ended up giving me social script that I could carry forward in my day-to-day life, which is so nice. Like this story is just brilliant. So it's a real kind of long article as well, with lots of kind of information, and this is a really cool comment from here. It's mental illness is not a plot twist. Trauma is not a plot point. So again, I'll link it in, have a little read. It's really nice, and it kind of shows you the benefits of gaming, but obviously healthy. I always say this kind of, healthy, taking time out, don't play them for too long, etc. But yeah, so that's a really nice little article there. So next, as always, is our guest. So today we have Mrs Bun. So Mrs Bun, so I've known her through our Discord channel and through Human Shield, and yes, she really kind of I may have pushed her a little bit to come on the show, but she's on and she's happy to be on, which is always great. I will let her introduce herself and obviously her gaming background and all that kind of stuff. So first of all, welcome, Mrs Bun.
Thanks so much for having me on. I love your podcast.
Thank you so much. Honestly, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you coming on. It's actually 2 weeks kind of in a row where people have said that they weren't sure if they wanted to come on or not, and then they were like, actually, yeah, let's do it. So I do really, really appreciate it.
No, thank you. I think you're doing a good thing. It needs to be spoke about more. Definitely does.
Yeah, that's the thing we're trying to kind of get, is trying to get that whole, the stigma. There is no stigma of it. See, everyday life, people were dealing with it, and so yeah. So with yourself, let's introduce yourself, and then we can kind of go in from your gaming kind of background and history, and obviously how mental health has played a part in that.
Yeah, so most people call me Emma, but I'm known as Mrs Bun in the gaming world. I'm Mrs Bun, and I'm also Human Shield's little sister.
Yes,
it's one of those three. So I was a streamer for I think one day, or one full day and anxiety kicked in, unfortunately. But that's something we can chat about later on. But
Definitely. Yep.
yeah, that is it in a nutshell, to be fair. I still play games and things, and I'm always on other people's streams and things like that. But
Nice.
streaming's not for me just now.
Okay, perfect. Well, that's a nice little intro into kind of that. So gaming wise, where did it start, or how long have you been gaming for? You know, what type of games? What's your kind of background?
Yeah, well, I think because my big brother, John, he's always played games as well. So I've always been like the annoying little sister watching him and begging him for a shot and things. So like from a
Mhm.
young age, I was always player
Yeah.
two vibe. Sometimes with the controller not even plugged in, and thought if I didn't notice, but
Yep.
so it's like I always used to watch him playing. It was like PlayStation 1, like I remember Crash Bandicoot,
Oh, I
like
love it.
Spyro, things like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always loved watching that, and that's why I think I like watching streamers.
Yep.
It does relax me a bit because I'm just so used to it.
Yep.
But I think when John used to go out, I used to sneak a shot of his PlayStation, and I used to get. I don't
Nice.
know if you remember. Do you remember like they had the magazines with the demos on them?
Yes. Oh my god. I've actually in the background of my stream. I've actually got a couple of the old demo discs still
Yeah.
there. Like, yeah. Honestly, I used to love them.
I used to love them as well. So I used to sneak, and there was two games I loved, which I was laughing about today. It was called Roscoe McQueen Firefighter. You
Right.
used- I don't know if anybody's heard of that. And
Oh,
then it was a Cula World, I think, and it was just like a bouncy ball going around puzzles. It was weird.
amazing,
I
amazing.
know.
Oh, the maddest thing about them games, used to love them, especially them puzzle ones. Used to play them, but then they'd give you like obviously because it's a demo, they give you like 2 levels, and then
I know.
you'd be like, oh, do you know what? I'm just gonna restart it and do it again and see if I can do it in a quicker time, or see if I can do it. Like, and I
I
used to
know.
do it all the time, and
I know.
but then I never really wanted to buy the game.
No, I know. It was always like that. I know. And then I think it got to the point where I was doing that, and then I think I asked for a console of my own, and my first one was the Nintendo 64, and I got
Nice.
Banjo-Kazooie with it.
Oh,
I still
amazing.
love Banjo. Still love it
Yes.
to this day.
Oh my god, amazing. Yeah.
I know. So it's been from a young age. It's always kind of been in my life with my brother and things. So
Yeah.
always been
Nice.
involved with it. Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah, it's kind of I was talking to someone else about this the other day, and it is some of the old games like are just brilliant. Like, and they
Hmm.
still bring back so much nostalgia and memory, and sometimes you can remember exactly where you were when you were
Hmm.
playing that game. It's just mad. So,
Definitely.
yeah, I love the old. I still actually want to get an N64 just again for the background. Not to
Yeah,
actually play,
definitely.
but as a
I know.
display piece. But nice. So obviously, you mentioned a minute ago about kind of your anxiety and streaming, and it only lasted one day. Um, Before kind of obviously, wanting to stream, where's your kind of mental health? How long have you had it for? What is causing it, or don't you know? Do you know what I mean? Where did it all start? If you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, do you know, it's so hard because the minute I knew I was coming to do this, like I've been trying to rack my brain, like when did it start? And
Yeah.
my husband said to me a few days ago, it's like it's got worse. So it's like
Right. Okay.
I don't know what it is that's caused it, but I've always been a worrier,
Yeah.
always. So like that's naturally. So I always think there's a fine line between worrying and anxiety,
Yeah.
and I think that's probably I have been over the line, and I probably should have went for help probably a little bit earlier, but
Hmm.
I was also that anxious that I felt I was wasting the doctor's time.
Yeah.
So it's like it's kind of a never-ending circle. It doesn't really help. So I think I think it's always been kind of in the back burner, but recently it's got worse as I get older, I think. I just think I'm so
Yep.
worried about everything, and it's just I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a social thing. I'm not too sure because I feel fine talking to you like one on one,
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. Yeah.
but see if I was on a stream and you
Yeah.
came on, I'd
You
probably get really
then.
nervous.
Yeah.
It's silly. It's
Yeah.
so silly.
It's really strange you saying that. It actually sounds really similar to my other half. She is the biggest kind of warrior like
Hmm.
ever. She's a lot better, but she used to panic and worry about everything, and the what ifs and the what
Hmm.
but and all that type of stuff. Like, and she really was, and so I totally get you from there, and especially I
Hmm.
think COVID wise as well has never helped, because anyone that has any type of anxiety,
Hmm.
like, because I worked in retail when when COVID kicked off.
Oh, did you?
So I worked in retail, so I was obviously, I wasn't front line, but they called it front line because people were still
No,
going
you
out to
were.
the shops,
Mhm.
and it's only a clothing store, and I had suffered with like panic attacks and anxiety and depression before,
Yeah.
but because. And I think it's a very British thing because everyone kind of didn't really believe what COVID was,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
you know what I mean. Everyone was very blasé about it, which is fine because that is just a British and who we are, and
Yeah.
that type of thing. But I was really nervous because my missus were pregnant. So you
Yeah. Of
obviously
course.
worry about that anyway, and then there was no real evidence about anyone being pregnant and catching it, and so that was really hard. And then people would like call you like names because you'd be wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, come on. Literally, I had panic attack after panic attack, and the doctor signed
Oh,
me off.
bless.
So
Yeah.
with anxiety, I totally get you, and it's the worst thing because as soon as I can feel it coming on now, and I'm sure you probably can as well.
Yeah.
I feel it coming on, and so I can sometimes, calm
Mhm.
calm myself down before it kicks in.
Yeah.
But it's horrible.
It is horrible, and
Mm.
I think for me, I struggle. I get really like physical signs as well. So I get a red rash
Oh, do you?
that develop. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a part of why I don't go on camera because
So is that
there's always.
like neck,
Sorry.
chest? Is that kind of like
Yeah.
neck, chest, and like face?
Yeah,
Is
it
mainly
doesn't go to the face yet.
okay.
Yet. I
Yeah.
say yet. But it's like there's always I think like you say that, when people used to make comments about wearing a mask and
Hmm.
things like throughout my life, even like in work situations and whatever, like big bosses have said to me like, "Oh, your rash is appearing," and
Oh,
things like that. And it's like, yep, well that's gonna make it go away.
yeah, exactly. It makes it
Yes.
worse. Yeah.
So I think that's kind of part
Yeah.
of why I don't on camera, like I don't want somebody pointing it out. I don't
Hmm.
it just makes it worse, so it's not good. But
Yeah.
I think as well, do you know when we were going back to like when it started as well, I will say I used to play like Call of Duty back at like high school,
Okay.
and it wasn't like a big thing for like girls in my age group. It wasn't
Yep.
like a huge thing. Like, there probably was girls that play games, it just
Of
wasn't
course.
spoken about.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was weird, and it got to the point where, I mean, it still happens to this day occasionally, not as bad, but
Yeah.
I used to sign on, and you know what the lobbies were like, and back in the day with games and for
Yes.
abuse and things, and
Yeah.
just purely because I was a girl, I
Because your
got
voice.
so
Yeah.
much abuse,
Yeah.
and then I made some friends, and I remember it, and it took me such a long time to like speak to them and actually invite them to a game because I was terrified.
Yeah.
And then I finally done it, and they all joined, and they had their girlfriends on their headsets, just giving me like so much abuse,
Oh,
just saying like,
really?
oh yeah,
I thought it
So I
was a
think that
nice. I thought you were going to say it
no,
was a nice thing.
no, I
Jesus.
wish. So it was like I don't know. That's probably started in terms of the gaming side, like why I'm so anxious about it. I think
That's.
that's definitely stems.
Do you know it bugs me so much because, like, and this goes to like social media at the moment. Like again, I a lot of my podcasts go towards social media because I'm not anti social media because I still think it's a great tool. I think it's a great business tool. I always think for for businesses and things like that, because I think social media, especially just as an individual, you kind of look at it and go, their life's better than mine. Why? And then it makes you feel bad. That's the way I kind of look at social media. And but yeah, you look at social media at the moment, and especially women still,
Mm-hmm.
and the amount of stories they tell and the amount of abuse they get still, and it's this whole thing of, especially like on social media at the moment, where people were saying that women are stealing, guys' views, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's the
Yeah.
most stupid thing. Like, I watch a streamer, male, female, trans, whoever,
Hmm.
I watch them for them.
Yeah.
I don't watch them because they are a certain sex, a certain race, I watch them for them because they're funny, they're individual, they're good at gaming, they're
Yeah.
whatever, and it should never ever be discriminated ever.
No.
And it frustrates
Yeah.
me so much that we are in 2022 and this still happens.
No, I know. It is so bad. It's
It's
so bad.
insane. It's insane.
Yeah.
And this why I think this is a great story to hear from yourself.
Yeah.
Again, because we are getting a side, we're actually hearing your side of it,
Yeah, definitely. I
which,
definitely think, yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
I think it's a big thing and it still happens to
yeah,
this day, not just to so many women as well.
yeah,
And do you know, it's a shame as well because I'm not one for I'm like you, like I'll watch whoever I like and
yeah,
that's what it comes down to. But it's just I feel there is some women, there's some men that don't give us a good name
yeah,
either. And
yeah, yeah,
they
yeah, of course.
play on the fact as well, and it's so annoying because it's like there is some like genuine people that just want to do it and just enjoy gaming and
Yep,
just just want to do it for the fun of it and not for the views because there is some people that are doing it for the wrong reasons and
of
whatever, but
course, of
that's for
course.
another day.
Yes, but it is true. You are right. Like there was, and I'm sure that a lot of people that watch this, podcast are gamers anyway, so they'll probably know this
Yeah.
this tweet that went out, or there was a tweet, and it was a girl doing ASMR on a microphone on Twitter, and
Hmm.
she basically was just licking the mic, and it was just kind of crazy,
Yeah,
and
and I mean, fair play to her if that's how she wants to. Do you
do
know
you
what I
know
mean?
what?
Like,
I
yeah,
said
fair play.
exactly the same. Like, if
Yeah,
she's getting, the only issue I ever have with things like that is the age limit,
yeah, I
because there
agree.
is no. Yes, there is. On my stream, there is a thing when someone comes in, it's like, "Are you 18 plus?" You click yes, and that's it. So
Yeah.
there is that, but I think there needs to be more. Like my nephews are just probably starting to come onto Twitch, the oldest one, and he is 10 this year.
Yeah.
Just starting to kind of watch, and I've had to kind of like really warn like my sister and go,
Hmm.
look, just because it is literally just a click saying yes I am. There's no
Hmm.
anything else, and it does worry me. It does, because
Hmm.
it's
Scary
you know
world out there, isn't it?
it is, and I think Twitch needs to do a little bit more, but I don't really know what else they could do unless you put a credit card, number in to say you're 18, but
I
don't
know.
get charged. I don't know. It's a tough one.
I know.
It
It really
really
is.
is. Yeah, it really is. But you are right. Like, there are some absolutely fantastic and phenomenal female gamers. Like, I watch as a gamer who I watch, and I watch her quite religiously actually, and she is a Rainbow Six streamer, and she is amazing, and it's so funny. I kind of class it as funny, but it's probably funny for her. But then I always want to know about people's mental health afterwards, because
Yeah.
she gets slated in game all the time, like on through VoIP, through kind of all that type of stuff, like people, you know,
Hmm.
rowing with her because she's female, or they think she's cheating and all that, and she just laughs it off, and it is really funny. But
Yeah.
I do, after a time, I wonder how much that affects.
Yeah, definitely. I can
Yeah,
imagine it'd be quite draining for her if she does it a
yeah.
lot anyway.
Well,
I can imagine.
it's like yourself, as you say, like
Mm.
right at the very beginning, like that must have been horrible.
Yeah. To be fair, it really was. And even now, it's so strange because if you knew me as like a person living off of games, out of games and things, like I'm very cutthroat, and if somebody says something that offends me, I'm done. I'll walk away and
Yeah,
I'm just done with them, and I don't put up with it in
yeah,
like real life, as we call it.
yeah,
But
yeah. Of course.
I feel online, it's just like a vulnerability that you've got, and I don't know what it is. It's like because you know that they can make another account or they can still
Mm,
get to you, and I feel like there's just like no escape from it,
yep.
and that scares me a bit. That does give me a bit of worry, and I worry about people that I care about doing it as well for that reason.
Yeah.
Like, what's like if somebody's going to say something that's just that one step too far,
Yeah.
it scares me. Does
Yeah.
scare me a bit.
And it's very true. And we brought this up last week or the week before. And again, you kind of never know what that person is going through at
Hmm.
that time, and you could say the wrong thing, they take it the wrong way, or you could be, do you know what I mean? Like, and it is there is a
Hmm.
massive vulnerability about streaming. I
Definitely.
truly, and you never know who's going to come in your chat. Never,
Hmm.
ever, ever, ever. You literally could have the nicest people forever, and you have one person, and that one person will ruin your week, month, year, career, whatever. It's
Hmm.
yeah, it is kind of rough. So, but then kind
It's
of Sorry, go on.
It's also no, it's also the fact if somebody came on and they were struggling themselves and they mentioned it to you, then you feel instantly that you're responsible for that person. Do you know that, like,
Yeah,
if they've made a comment and you're just like, oh, I would never be able to sleep at night. I'd be
yeah.
so worried.
It's really hard. I had so there's a person that that I've known for pretty much since I started streaming, and that was on Mixer.
Mhm.
And they were around for a long time, and I remember them coming into the chat. They'd always talk about kind of, their mental health, and they were struggling a little bit, but nothing too crazy. And
Yeah.
then disappeared. He literally disappeared for like months, and someone
Yeah.
contacted me and was like, "Oh, have you heard about so and so?" And I was like, "No." And it's like, "Wow, he came into my stream and said actually whilst he was on stream that he had taken something, and
Oh
they
gosh.
had to then kind of like get him to then call an ambulance, and in the end he did, and
Oh gosh.
it was horrendous. And the person that kind
Yeah.
of was the guy on stream, like he suffered really hard with it, but now he's kind of really pleased and proud that it happened,
Mhm.
because he could help someone. um
Mhm.
and then I think the thing is, though, it is, and it's quite funny because my sister always says this. She always like, when you do a podcast, make sure you ring me afterwards and we can have a chat about it, because obviously you're taking on people's kind of, problems and all that kind of thing as well. And, you
Oh my
know,
God, I'm so glad you've just said that, because before this, I actually wrote notes, and my end bit is actually to ask if you're all
oh,
right, because I
really?
think it is, yeah, because I think it is quite a draining thing, like, not in a bad way, but it's
No.
just you're taking on so many people's issues, and because seem like quite a natural, caring person, so it's like
Yeah,
you do take it, do you know, home
I,
with you. I mean, you're at home,
yeah,
but you
no,
take it
no,
home
you,
with
you,
you.
you are right. You are right. Like, literally, like, yeah, I've done podcasts before, and when I first started, there was podcasts that I did. I'm only on like episode 13, so it's not like loads, but like, and
Hmm.
yeah, I wouldn't be able to sleep because I was like, oh, did I ask the wrong question, or did I sound like I wasn't actually listening or caring, or was I? And it
Yeah.
was, and it's that thing. It's, don't know really. I kind of I am. I do care about every single person that comes on this show. Like, seriously,
Yeah.
I am. But also as well, I'm really fascinated about this illness, disease,
Yeah.
whatever anyone wants to call it. I am fascinated how it affects people and why it affects people, and I'm just really intrigued in how different all our stories are. But again, we all come to a very similar place
Hmm.
sometimes, and it fascinates me. So I kind of get really kind of interested in it. So I'm normally all right, to tell the honest truth. It's
Yeah.
because I have my own struggles as well.
Hmm.
It's all relatable, and also as well something that you might say, I might take away with me and go, I'm going to use that
Yeah.
for me.
No, definitely, yeah.
Which and again, but streaming for me is, and everyone jokes about this, but it really is my therapy. Like,
Is it?
because, oh my god, 100%. Like, seriously, I cannot tell you how much. Like, if I'm having like a bad week or something, and I'll come on to stream, as long as there's people in the chat, that's obviously really hard for me personally,
Hmm.
because it's not always about the game for me. It's about chatting to people,
Right.
and again, like, it's chatting to people and talking about everything.
Yeah.
Talking about the news, talking about what's happening in the world, talking about what someone's doing at the weekend. Like, we talk about everything, and I think that's what I really like, and that is definitely
Yeah.
my therapy. Like, even this is a kind of
Yeah.
therapy for me, because it's nice. I don't get to talk to a lot of people,
Hmm.
especially now, like, moved wise, and a little bit more than I used to.
Hmm.
But like, it's not like, my other half, she works, every day, and she's on phone calls and Zoom calls and meetings and constant. So even though
Yeah.
it's work, she still talks to people. Like me, I'd
Hmm.
pretty much talk to myself and my little one, and if we go to classes, I talk to people, but that's it.
Yeah.
So again, coming on and talking to people is, yeah, for me, I love it, and it is a therapy for me.
Yeah. See, that's interesting for me then, because I can't, well, like I said, to go into it, I did stream that
Yeah,
one day. I had everything set up. I was so excited.
yeah,
It's something I love it. I love gaming and whatever. And
hmm
I'm quite it's weird. I'm a sociable person, like out with. I've always been like out with the girls
yeah.
or like my guy friends playing games and things. And then I'm not sure if I'm allowed to shout out anybody, but there was a
Ah, go
girl
for it.
I put it on Twitter and I said like I'm streaming for the first time, come join.
Yeah,
Obviously not thinking too much of it,
yeah,
was on, and there was a girl, Peanut Gaming 88,
yeah.
and I still remember her. I've got her on Twitter still, and she came in and she was like, "Hi," and I froze. I completely froze. I didn't know what to say. I felt like there was an expectation on me,
Oh
and I quickly
no.
ended the game, and that was it. And I just feel so bad because she still
Oh.
streams and stuff and still go in, but I'm too scared to even say, "Hi, I was that person." She probably doesn't even remember me, but
But
it's just I build it up in my head.
yeah, yeah, 100%. I
Yeah.
mean, I yeah, like obviously we've kind of joked about this before in like people's streams when we've been in the streams together, and I truly think you should do it again, like,
Yeah.
and even if it's you do it like, because the good thing about it is that you've got I personally think that you've got a good gaming community around you, like
Yeah.
from what I know, obviously from what I've spoken to, Human Shield, and obviously just yourself and in chats and things like that, and like
Hmm.
you won't, like, if you said, right, I'm going to start streaming one day a week, make
Hmm.
sure that day, and then obviously your brother will be on, I'd try and
Hmm.
be on, like Darth will be on, Hawks a bit, do you know what I mean? There'll be
Yeah.
a group of people that I think would all be on, and we'd be watching and maybe playing together and chatting, and I think it would just, I don't know, maybe just ease you in a little bit more, because it is very daunting.
Hmm.
I still would admit it is very daunting starting to stream for the first time,
Yeah.
because it is that whole expectation of, oh my god, is my gameplay good? Am I chatting enough? Am I chatting too much? And what do I talk about? What do I do? What do I, But
Hmm.
I think if you streamed and, well, you talked like we're talking now, happy
Yeah.
days, That's it,
I know.
you know.
I know. I really do need to think about it. It's so silly as well because it's even things like I was playing a game with John and Hawk. They came on Hawk
Yeah,
did an IOP, and he's the nicest guy. There's not a bad word anybody could say about him. He's
yeah,
lovely, and I actually went like mute. I couldn't talk at first because I was so nervous. And he's like, and I've spoken to him before on like on stream
yeah,
and
yeah,
things,
yeah.
but I don't know what it is. It's just like the minute I don't know. I honestly have no clue. There's no, but I suppose nobody has a clue about
No,
mental health, do they? That's
no,
the issue we've got.
definitely not, and that's it. And I think anxiety is one of the harder. Like depression, I think is, I suffer with
Mhm.
depression, and I take tablets for depression, and
Yeah.
medication, and obviously there is like mindfulness and breathing techniques, and there's loads and loads of things. I think anxiety though, like, I think it's a really tough one, because I think sometimes it comes like stupidly quick,
Yeah.
like really quick, and it will just come on. Or if it's
Mhm.
like a long, like, as I said, I'm kind of pretty good now that if I think it's coming, I'm pretty good
Mhm.
at then kind of, because I'm not, so I don't get a rash with my
Mhm.
anxiety, but I get the heat. Sounds
Oh, I
really
see.
weird, but literally I feel like I'm going to boil is is the
Yeah.
only word, like
No, I
absolutely
know.
boil, and then I get the thumping headaches like straight afterwards, and it's like that whole anxiety going into a panic
Yeah.
attack, going into that, and I get all that, and yeah, so I used to take beta blockers, whichever way around you want to call them,
Yeah.
for my panic attacks. But
Mhm.
then for anxiety, I do. I think it's a really tough one.
Yeah, it is. And when I did actually go to the doctors, it was more about the rash to see if they could give me something to stop it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And I mean, the doctor, bless her, she was lovely, but her advice was to me was to stop worrying.
Oh my
So I was
god.
like, well, thanks for that. So that's what I've always said. It's like what bugs me more about mental health is people going on that we need mental health awareness, and I don't think we do. I think we're aware of it. I think the issue's
It's
action. We've
yeah.
not got action for it. We don't know how to fix. It's not the right word, but
No.
to
Yep.
help with it. And I think that's the issue. It's not. We're all aware. We all know it's there.
Yeah. I
and
think
it's starting to annoy me.
I think you're bang on right. The hardest thing is, though, I think now as well, we have gone, and I hate to say this, like, but we've gone a little bit too far, where now people are using mental health as an excuse.
Completely.
And I hate to say it, because I hate the fact that people do this, you know, especially when we suffer. But, like, you know, there's people 100%, like, you know, just fake that they've got something, or, you know, and they want a label, shall we say, you know, and that is, I'm not saying like that's, you know, the young people of, you know, saying that I'm old, but you know what I mean, it does seem like a lot of people that are younger, you know, they want a label for something that, you know, they might have, and it might be, you know, the ADHD, it might be depression, it might be anxiety, or it might be nothing. But the fact is that they want a label, so they push for it.
Yeah, I agree. And I think it's things like, you know, like exams when you were at school. Everybody's nervous about that. Everybody's worried.
Yeah.
But now it's like, that's anxiety.
Yeah.
It's like, if you're feeling sad, somebody's passed away. Do you know, it's everybody's heartbroken, everybody's sad. And it's like, no, that's depression.
That's depression.
It's like,
doctors
there's
are
no
like,
line.
here you go, take tablets straight away. And
it's just, there's no, I don't think there's any stepping stones anymore. It's either you're fine or you're diagnosed. I think that's a big issue. Yeah, completely.
Yeah, massive. And the hardest thing is that I truly don't know how that will change. Like, unless you get more mental health, you know, nurses and doctors and you know, whatever way round it is. But then that's not going to happen here in the UK for a long time.
It's definitely not. No. I know, it's sad. It's a sad state we're living in, and I think what's good about what you're doing as well is there is, obviously you've got women on, but men, well, you've seen the statistic as well. It's like, it's so scary, so scary, and I think just guys showing that little bit of vulnerability, talking about it, I think it's so important, like so important. So you're doing really a good thing here.
Thank you. Like, and I do, I massively agree, and it was one of the biggest things when I first kind of was happy enough to talk about it. It was so bizarre how many people that I was talking to wouldn't talk about it. Like, even as in kind of like, you know, they would look at me like, and I still have friends like back from where I'm from that wouldn't, even if I bring it up, they'll change the subject, you know, because it's still a very taboo, as in, and I hate this saying so much, man up. I hate it. Hate it. Like, it's so
and it's
weird.
Such a common phrase as well. It's so bad.
Exactly, man up. And you know, and it is, as you say, the stats are there that, you know, there is more male suicide, there is you know, more male depression, you know, because of the fact that there is this whole stigma that men shouldn't talk about it, and they should just get on with it, and they should just do it, and you know, you should be there, the one who is. It's still so old school. Like, men are there, they should be providing, they should be, you know, putting a house over, you know, someone's head, and blah blah blah. It's so old school, it's ridiculous. But
it really is.
That, you know, and it's the maddest thing, because, you know, I mean, my family is not like that at all, as in, you know, me and my missus and all that. Like, my missus, she's the breadwinner. Like, she literally earns more money than like I ever did, so why then would I, you know, unless she turned around and said, I want to, you know, be a stay-at-home mum, 100%, of course, you know.
Yeah,
but she's like, you know, I earn more money, so why not? And I was like, that's, you know, whichever way round, you know. And, you know, so I'm a full-time stay-at-home dad, and, you know,
which is a job itself. I think it's very underrated.
It's more than that. It's ridiculous. Honestly, we were talking about this the other day. It is hard work. Like,
I can imagine.
Hard work. And but it is. It's funny. There were some people in my family, and some people in my other half's family, and they were like, "What? That doesn't make sense. What are you doing? Why are you?" You know, and they didn't get it. They did not get it. You know, and it was just like, well, this is what we're doing. You know, this is our life. This is what we're doing, and this makes sense for us. But again, it's old school mentality.
Yeah, completely.
And that's sad, because a lot of the older generation that probably have got mental health issues will not talk about it.
Well, do you know what? Funny you say that as well. As I said to you, I think earlier in the week, do you know, the older generation, I don't think I have that awareness, but then we've my human shields and my granny.
Yep.
She loves the stream. She loves it. She'll probably listen to this when it comes out as well.
Amazing.
But she literally said to me on the phone, I speak to her every day since my granddad died, and
Yep.
I speak to her, and she said that she wasn't aware how many issues people had. And it's because they're in their little bubble, and you know,
Yes.
they don't need to. So I think for her seeing other people and through a different kind of avenue as well, to be
Yep.
I mean, for a granny to be sitting on Twitch watching
Yeah, I
streamers
know.
is mad.
It's amazing.
It's mad, but it's
Yeah.
so true. So it's like it's reaching generations as well. So it's
Yes.
good, and it's good to talk about for all, because they're, as Human Shield was on, my brother,
Yep.
he had obviously a lot of issues before, and
Yep.
you know, the first people he spoke to was my granny and granddad, and they probably never really knew how to help.
Yes.
Do you know that way? Because it's taboo, like you say. It's
Yep.
not a subject that's often discussed, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all. And you are right. And I've definitely got great aunts and great uncles that are like in their 80s, 90s that 100% at this time they are having issues with regards to either depression or anxiety, or 100%, you know,
Yeah.
but they don't know what it is, and they won't ever go to a doctor because they just think I'll get over it. And it's really hard to see, and you think that that's happening to them. It's happening to thousands of other people. And it's all then just and also as well, it's the older generation, so a lot of people sweep it under the carpet because it's just like, well, you know, they'll be fine, you know, and you're just like, and I find that really hard. I find that really hard to know, and
I know.
you know, but as you say, they kind of don't know, and again, they're brought up so differently, and they've been through wars, and they've been through, you know, all this other stuff, that this is kind of nothing to them, but it kind of is.
Yeah,
and,
completely.
You know, and it's especially after COVID, and then no one even allowed to do anything, to go to bingo, to go shopping, to do whatever. No one being stereotyping, they're kind of going to bingo, but you know what I mean. It's that social side that anyone had is just taken away from you, and
completely.
you know, and that's, you know, been hard for people that were very social.
Definitely.
So going back to kind of yourself and you know, streaming wise, shall we say, so what made you want to stream in the first place?
Do you know, it was actually, I watched, there's a guy I love watching him stream, Runaway Statue. I don't know if you've heard of him. He plays Call of Duty. He's the most happiest person I have ever met. He makes me, I'm smiling talking about it. I love him.
Amazing.
He's so nice. And
Perfect.
he's just, I think for me, it was watching him, and he's so confident and so happy. And I was like, imagine having that much fun just doing what you like doing.
Yeah.
And then just the reality. But then there's also that thing of streaming where I get anxious. It's not even just the social side. Like the games I play, like I don't play like big popular Warzone. I play, I love Warzone, but like I don't play loads of popular games, so it's like, I don't know, would people even be interested in that? So then I start double guessing and second guessing myself there, so it's, I don't know.
So I would like, this is so, and again, I bring this up quite a lot, like so randomly the missus, one Christmas or birthday a few years ago, whenever it was, she basically got me the book, Ninja's book, you know, Ninja who plays Fortnite. So I read that, and it's a really good read, but there's so much stuff in there saying, like, you know, always talk. Even if no one's in your chat, you should always talk about what you're doing in game. So I'm doing this because, or I'm doing this, oh my god, have you seen this, or have you seen that, and blah blah blah. Like, always talk. And the other thing, it was a big thing, is you should always play something you enjoy. I know there's a lot of stuff going on at the moment where people aren't doing that, and they're looking at the numbers, and Twitch have just done this thing which is clever, but also as well, it's making people worry about numbers even more, in my opinion. What they've done, there's a thing where you can now look at your stats, and it will tell you similar games that you play and the amount of viewers per streamer. So average 35 viewers per one streamer, or whatever it is. And it's a really good tool, but then it's going to make people play games because of number. Yeah, exactly. And recently I've got back into a game called Raft, and we played this, me and my mate played it like ages ago and loved it, and then just all of a sudden we stopped playing it, like didn't have time or whatever it was, and we stopped. And so I was playing it recently and I was like, oh my god, I loved it. And I played it on stream the other day, And I was like, no one's going to come and watch, and that's it. It's fine. I don't really mind. Like, as long as I've my mate was in the stream, Last Marauder was in the stream with me, and we were chatting away and playing together, and the views were crazy. Like, they were really good, and I was like, this is mad. Like, and it's a game that I enjoyed. So it's, I would always say, do a game you enjoy, and it doesn't matter, because again, as I said to you before, I watch people. Yes, I do sometimes watch people for their games, but I watch people for themselves. Like, to go and have a chat with them and a bit of a laugh and a bit of a joke and get their personality. And so you playing random odd games, I truly don't think it would matter. I really don't.
I know. I think it's just, again, it's the overthinking of it, because I always think, I love Theme Hospital. That's one of my all-time favourites. I love it.
Yeah,
but then I'm like,
Theme Park. Oh my god, Theme Park was amazing.
But I get in such a panic when like the hospital's like the bloated head to the inflation room, and I can't imagine like dealing with the panic of the game, plus like trying to entertain people. It's so silly. But I mean, I think you're right. I think I do need to just bite the bullet. But it's just like I think that is one of the biggest things, because there's so many COD players, which I play, like Warzone.
Yeah.
But then, do people want to see me building a hospital or building a roller coaster from Tycoon, or I don't know.
But
I don't know.
It doesn't. I think it's one of them things. I don't think it matters. Like, I truly don't. Like, you're always going to get people coming to watch you for COD. You know, COD's obviously massive, and you'll get that. I mean, the issue with me for CODs, and it's. I'm not bashing just CODs, because I used to I owned every single COD bar the last like 2, every single one. I'm talking every one, and I loved the franchise. It was wicked. But then watching it, I think it's really toxic. Like, and that's that's quite difficult. Like, and there's a lot of people that think other people are cheating, and I don't know. It just seems very intense, where I think if you played that and then obviously go, right, do you know what, I'm going to chill out and play Theme Hospital, or like, I play Stardew Valley. I used to stream.
Oh my god!
I used to stream Stardew, and I loved it.
I only found that in the pandemic. I absolutely love it. It's so good.
It's so good, right? Oh my god! If you play that, we should all get on and start a new world, like, because it is so much, and it's super chilled out, and it is just a game. Like, and again, that's why I'm playing Raft at the moment, because I've got lost in this world and I love it, and it's so I truly think, like, again, play what you want. And I was always the one where I was never going to stream. And Last Marauder said, he wanted to stream, and he said we should do it together, and I was like, yeah, it's fine, we'll start together and all that. And I was like, fine. And and I wasn't going to stream, and I started streaming, and I was like, well, because I'm playing, I might as well stream anyway. That's the thing. And again, it all kind of really kicked in for me when obviously COVID started, and all that kind of stuff. And so streaming was then, I'll stream every day, because I'm getting paid to sit at home get on furlough. And so it was kind of one of them things where I was playing anyway, so why not stream? And I'm not saying like you still need to take your own time out and play your games just by yourself and chill.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, if you get a schedule going and go, right, I'm going to stream 2 nights a week, be these 2 nights, and one of them's going to be COD and another one's going to be a variety stream of whatever. And then I would start it like that, and then
I think I might. I've kind of talked myself into that. I'm going to just do like 2 hours next week. Just 2 hours, just setting. I always do that, even if I'm really worried about something. This is how I deal with the anxiety of stuff. Like, right, I've got to worry about that, but I'm going to worry about it a few hours later. I'll just worry about it tomorrow, and it does help, which sounds so silly, but it was actually my friend. He deals with bad anxiety, and it was him that said that does help him, and it does. So I don't know that right now in my head, next week, that is the day I'm going to stream. If I do it, that'll be a different.
But then on that day, you'll have people like me and your brother going, right, what time are you on? What time are you going to press,
I know. To be fair, my brother won't be as polite as you are. He'll be like, get on. He'll be telling me straight.
But i.e., look at this. Look what you're doing now.
I know, but again, I think that's a reflection of you, because people feel comfortable talking to you. Like, I feel like I'm just talking to a friend now.
But that's it. But then that's the whole thing. When you stream, you have control over everything.
Yeah.
You have the control over who comes in your stream. Well, not who comes in, but who stays.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, and just make sure that, you know, if you're doing it, you've got, you know, mods that you trust, even if it's literally one or two, you know,
Yeah.
and you've got like the night on your screen or second monitor or whatever you've got, you've always got that, you know, screen up where you can press delete that message and ban that person. Like, then, yeah,
Mhm.
honestly, I truly don't think you'll have anything to worry about. You know, and you just have to
No.
remember as well, when you first start, most people that are going to be watching you are the people that know you.
Yeah, that's true. I know. I know.
So,
I know all this. This is the thing. It's so silly. I know it is, but it's just that one step at a time, isn't
I
it? I'll
agree.
get there. I think even the fact that you'll notice in like the Discord thing, the server as well,
Yep,
like I'm chatting a bit more and I never used to. I never
definitely.
would.
Yep,
It's like I think it just takes a bit of confidence as well. It's probably
100%.
yeah, and I
100%.
think as well, just this has helped because I feel like yourself, like you say, do you know, if you bring it up to people like how you're feeling and whatever, I'm always the listener in my friends, like
Yeah,
always, and I take on their issues and whatever. And I actually feel like when they ask me, I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And
yeah,
I'm not, but I'm
yeah,
like, yep,
yeah,
fine. So I feel like actually being put on the spotlight a little bit, it's maybe actually helped.
yeah. That's
It's
good.
maybe helped.
It's
I
good.
know.
Like, if you spoke to, like, I always remember after speaking to Human Shield, and he sent me a message the day after, and he
Hmm.
said, last night was the best sleep I've had in such a long time. And
Oh.
it was the nicest, honestly, the nicest comment. But,
Hmm.
like, I do believe that. I believe that if you talk, and I always say this, it doesn't have to be to me. It doesn't have
Hmm.
to be, you know, but if you start talking about it, it is the hardest thing to start talking about your issues, your problem, your whatever you've got, whatever it is. It's always so hard to talk about. But once you do start, it
Hmm.
normally just flows out. But also,
Yeah,
as
that's
well,
true.
you normally feel, I tend to feel a little bit worse and then better.
Yeah,
And yeah, I do. I think you will always feel the benefit from it.
definitely. No, I think it's been a good thing. I'm glad. I'm glad I've done it now. I
I
overthought it a lot.
You didn't, honestly, you didn't need to. And as I said to you before, like, literally, like, this was always just going to be a chat. And
Yeah.
that's the way I always run this. I don't, and people always ask, oh, you know, should I write something down? Should I? I know you've probably, as you said, you might have notes there or whatever, but, which is absolutely fine. You know, but it is literally a chat, and that's it. That is,
Yeah,
you know, as you say, it's, you know, with both of us like, sitting in a coffee shop or a pub or whatever it is, and we're just having a chat. And
I know.
it's, you know,
That's true.
how are you today? You know, oh well,
Yeah,
today's a bit,
definitely.
you know, and that's it, you know. And as long as, like, we can kind of get this out to more people to really show people that it isn't a taboo subject, it isn't,
Yeah,
you know, and how many people are freaking going through it. You're not alone.
definitely not. And I think there is a lot of people, and I know a lot of people that would love to be streamers and they would love to make a career out of it and love to do it, and
Yep,
they just deal with it as well, and they just don't have the courage, or
yep,
they are dealing with mental health, or there's a lot of it, and I think it is important to see the good and the bad side of it. I think it's very
exactly.
important.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've always said this, like,
Yeah.
these kind of podcasts, they, at the moment, they still are very, there's a lot that are positive about
Yeah.
gaming, but I do know that there is a lot of people that, you know, it is not always positive. Like, gaming is
No.
not always the way, you know, forward for mental health. Like, it does help some people. Like, as I say, I know some people that have actually, you know, quit streaming and quit gaming, you know, because
Hmm.
of their mental health. So, you
Yeah.
know, it's bad for them. You know, this with the gaming addiction side and all that kind of stuff. So it isn't
Yeah,
always it
definitely.
isn't always roses. It definitely isn't.
No.
So, but yeah, um, cool. That
Well.
was awesome. What and again, I said this last week, and I always normally forget to ask. But have you got any final thoughts, final comments, any questions?
No, do you know what? I think we've covered it all. I think just people, I think what you just said actually in the last 5 minutes there, that it's that simple, like asking people how they are. I think it's so important, and whether it's gaming or not.
Yeah,
And I think even with gaming, like your friend did as well, or the person that you knew, they've walked away from it. I think it's so important that even if you have decided to stream, there is an escape. You can sign out. You don't have to do it
Yes.
just because you've told your viewers, that you're going to do it.
Mhm.
Don't like, you're not obliged to do it. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's so important, and it's just, we just need to make sure we need to look after the streamers as well. Like, there's people I care about, like my brother. I don't want him getting in a toxic environment as well. Do you know
Yeah.
that way? So we just need to make sure that, again, it goes back to the classic: be kind, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's it.
No, do
That's
you know
it.
what? You are 100%. And I said this. I always remember reading, and I still see it, tweets literally every day. Twitter's really good, but also really bad. And there was so many tweets out there saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, my mental health has been really bad today. I'll be better tomorrow." And it's like, don't ever apologize. Gee, and people are
Yeah.
literally like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I wasn't on stream today, or I was really down today on stream, or whatever." And the hardest thing is, as you say, and you just literally mentioned it, is, people, you do have a mental health day, like, and the hardest thing about being a streamer, it seems like, and especially because everyone does it, full-time streamers, they never take a break, never go on holiday, all that type of stuff, and then that's where they burn out. And people need time off.
Definitely.
Definitely. Holiday, whatever, people need time off. And being a content creator is hard for that.
I agree. Completely, because I think as well, just for a little end note, I think people underestimate as well how much is involved. Like, if you're doing like if you're going for it fully, it's not just signing on, "Hi, I'm online."
Yeah.
There's like doing the content. If you're doing YouTube, if you're doing everything else, TikToks and whatever, it's mad. John's desk, I've never seen anything like it. There's so many switches, I wouldn't even know where to start. So it's like, people need to give credit.
It's mad, because you're bang on right, and it is that thing where for a partnered streamer, say, or someone who is full time, they want to stream a minimum of 6 hours is the norm. I normally see people, if they're full time, a minimum of 6 hours. Then after that 6 hours, they then have to edit that video into clips, edit that video into a YouTube video, which is probably sometimes going to take another 4 hours. All of a sudden, you're on a 10 to 12 hour day, where everyone else is normally working 8 hours and probably earning more money than you.
No, it's true. It's true.
And that's the thing. People do think as soon as you press start and then you press stop, that's it, your day's done. And it's not. It really
it's
isn't.
definitely not.
And so you are right. You are right. There is so much behind the scenes, and yeah, it's definitely a grind. But again, I think if you're enjoying what you do, then it doesn't matter how many hours you put. It's not a job, exactly. And then, but just don't burn out. Is my thing. So awesome. Honestly, Mrs Bun, thank you so much. And honestly, I really appreciate you coming on, and because, as I say, I know how kind of anxious you were beforehand, and kind of and I do hope I've made it easy for you to chat.
You've got a very good talent at this. You should definitely keep at it.
I appreciate it. Thank you. I actually would love to do different podcasts as well, but I'm just trying to think of ideas and time. Time is always an issue for me, but doing this once a week is really good fun, and the people that I've met from it, and the stories I've heard, and and even just the feedback and comments that we get is it's really nice. It's really nice, and I always say if it makes a difference just to one person, then we're doing something right. So
that's it, definitely.
Awesome. Okay, well, stay on the call. I'm just going to do our ending. I appreciate it, and thank you, honestly, so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. And
no problem. Thank you.
No worries. We'll speak to you in a bit. Okay.
Speak soon.
Cheers.
Bye.
So, guys, there we go. As I said, that was awesome, and to get a view from someone where they want to stream but can't is amazing, because it is not as easy as just pressing start and going. It really isn't. And I will say this, even though this is a pre-recorded, so I pre-record all of these now, just because of time-wise and getting people and interviewing, it's hard to do it all on the same day. And even though I'm pre-recording this and I know that I can pause it and stop it and edit it and anything like that, I will still get nervous pressing start recording. And I do the same when it streams. That's something that I think a lot of people deal with, It is the whole anticipation of, is anyone going to be in the stream? Is anyone going to want to watch it? Is anyone going to, be here and blah, 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 blah. It's a lot. So, yeah, for Mrs Bun to really kind of open up and talk about that has been brilliant. And also as well from a British streamer side, or a British female gamer side especially, and how much kind of crap that she had to go through is rubbish. It's horrible. It really is. And it needs to change. The world needs to change with this. And again, and it kind of, that doesn't help people's mental health. Again, we should all be kinder. But anyway, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, listening. Again, this will be live on YouTube and Twitch every Sunday, 1 p.m. Next week's guest is a banger, is pretty insane. We're super stoked to have this person on, so watch out for this one. It's a big name as well for us, which is awesome. But yeah, keep watching, keep sharing, keep everything, because as I said before, if this just reaches one person, we get to help one person, then amazing, like actually amazing. And as always, I don't want people to be alone. Everyone's going through something. So I will sign off as always. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mrs Bun. And as always, look after your mental health.